Anna Kasparian. Well, Destiny joins us now. Destiny, you've been quite active on
I've never heard of this person, never interacted with this person. I disavow.
social media since Charlie Kirk's death. When Erica Kirk posted Charlie's coffin, you responded, she tagged him.
I like how Destiny lost a debate partner in the middle of all this. He lost a fucking debate partner, but he doesn't need a debate partner, okay? It's Destiny, okay? Jesus.
Brackets, crying face emojis. In response to Alina Haber's tweet ordering people to fly their flags at half-mast in memory of Charlie, you posted on X buying flags and poles just to fly them fully erect. And you then posted yesterday, ending every Conservative debate call out I'd do in 2026 with "Don't dodge, bro." That's not what Charlie would have wanted. I mean, do you think that your response to the cold-blooded murder of Charlie Kirk has been appropriate?
Yes.
Dude.
I think that the only way this country moves forward into a better world is when conservatives can finally realize that they need to turn the temperature down on their side. We are 10 years into whatever this Trump madness is, and there is not a single mainstream conservative that will call for a lowering of the temperature on their side. I think that liberals need to wake up and finally realize that if they're not willing to do it, it will never come down. If you wanted Charlie Kirk to be alive, Donald Trump shouldn't have been president for the second term. Every time he's in office, this happens. People joked about when Biden came in, it was so boring, nothing was going on. 7 out of 10 of the largest protests in American history have happened under Donald Trump. All of the recent political violence that's happened in this.
You know what should happen? I think Charlie should just upgrade his evasion rating, okay? You know how it is, right? He should have used an extra orb of chaos, okay? Chaos orb.
Country over the past 20 years, the majority of it, the overwhelming majority of it, everybody gets mad because they keep asking Barack about it, has been conservative.
Who shot Charlie Kirk?
A guy from Utah who was raised in a Christian family, who was a 22-year-old
A guy described...
He wasn't trans. He didn't have a
Destiny.
trans girlfriend. He didn't have any trans influences. He didn't have any trans bullets. Yeah, I'm sorry. You guys were wrong on all of that.
To be clear, the governor of Utah...
You know what? I'm so glad they showed the picture because I feel like some people don't even know what he looks like. Dude, this is the whitest kid with the weirdest forehead I've ever seen. In fact, what the fuck is wrong with his forehead? His forehead is at a right angle. Why the fuck does the line here and his forehead form a fucking right angle? What the fuck?
Truly, this is the dankest dungeon.
Akimoy, thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs, buddy. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Holy shit. I really appreciate that. Bro! What?
Spencer Cox has made it clear that their investigation has now established that he had been radicalized by a leftist ideology, which drove him to do this. That's just
I'm sorry, excuse me, when?
Yesterday, you said that.
No. When was he radicalized? In the 6 months that he did remote college?
I don't know when he was radicalized, but I do know the very reasonable sounding governor of Utah has made it clear that the event... You may not want...
Okay. How much Vyvanse did he take?
He said this is an ongoing investigation.
You may not want to hear it, Destiny, but the reality is the investigators, according to the governor of Utah, have established that he was radicalized to a leftist ideology that drove him to murder Charlie Kirk. Now, let me just ask you.
That's not true.
Let me just ask
you. There's no way to deal with it.
Okay, you're accusing the governor of lying. Yeah. That's your prerogative. But sure. If it turns out to have been somebody with a leftist ideology who wanted to shut up Charlie Kirk, would you condemn that?
I won't condemn anything until the president of the United States can go on air and say, all of us need to calm down.
Yes. You won't condemn the murder of Charlie Kirk until Donald Trump says something.
Oh my God. This is all I want Hutch to concede. This is what I want Hutch to concede on. This is what I want Hutch to concede on. Right? It's exactly this. Right? Oh, but he agrees with me. No. He does concede on this. He agrees with me. Right? I moved him to my position. Okay? In a Piers panel, where you're being asked to disavow by putting on a fucking clown nose and makeup, yeah, fuck that shit, dude. Fuck that shit. Fuck these people. Fuck these fucking pieces of shit. Jesus Christ. Yeah, don't give them a fucking inch. These people are disgusting, heinous creatures. They're monsters bred in the dark through generations and generations of American incest. Okay? These people, their lineage goes all the way back to their own DNA, okay?
a YouTuber. Leftists and Democrats have been condemning and turning down the temperature, condemning violence, turning down the temperature for a decade. Donald Trump can't go on TV and say, all of us need to calm down.
Right.
Can you tell me why he cannot?
Why
tell
would you
his
expect
side
anybody,
to calm down?
Destiny?
You can't answer that. Can you answer that question? Why can't Trump
you
go on
answer
TV
this
and say,
question?
all of us should be less violent?
Why do you
can't
think?
Trump say that?
Why do you
Why
think?
is your behavior contingent on Donald Trump?
Insane right now.
Why do you
is
think?
your
No, let me
behavior
ask you a
contingent
question.
on Donald Trump?
Let me ask you a question.
Because he's the president of the United States of America and the leader of the
Yeah, Destiny. Let me
You
just.
have a huge audience of young men who
I'm a
listen to
YouTuber
everything you have to
who
say.
has more
So
young
when
men
you,
following
it
him.
doesn't
Who
matter.
has
You have a
more young-
huge
it doesn't
audience,
matter.
and because
This
of
is
the fact that you
world
have a
I'm
huge
living in,
audience,
and
you
your
have
brain
a
has been broken
responsibility.
by-
Destiny arguing with white women. It's like a return to form, you know? Oh, this feels so good. Oh my god. Oh my god. I feel so... Oh my god, thank you. Okay, yes. I needed more. I needed more of this. I needed more Destiny arguing with white women, okay? This is what I need in my life, okay? Thank God, okay? I missed the laugh debates. I missed the laugh tent. And the Anna tent.
To not
Online
turn,
rhetoric.
no,
And
it
your
hasn't.
brain
It
has
hasn't been
been
broken. I
destroyed
actually care
because
about the
people
country
bully you on
and want to bring
Twitter.
people together.
If
You
you
do
think
the
you should tell
opposite.
Donald
You
Trump to
represent
tell
the
people
worst
to
of us,
be
Destiny.
less
You're
violent.
embarrassed.
Wait. Destiny is looking down. Do you see that? Destiny is looking down. Does he have notes on his phone? I think that's what's going on. I think that Destiny is looking at notes on his phone, but yeah. Yeah, I don't care.
You should tell
You're
Donald.
embarrassed.
All right, let me ask
Watch how
Destiny
easy
a
this is.
question.
Watch how easy this
No,
is.
hang on.
If
Don't
Donald
all shut
Trump
at
would come
once,
out-
please.
If Donald Trump would have come out and
Destiny,
say, hey, we should all be less violent,
Destiny,
I have no problem saying
I have one
absolutely.
question for you,
Why
Destiny.
can't conservatives do that? Why can't conservatives do that?
Destiny, I have a question for you. Why do you think, in your campaign for everyone to dial down the temperature, why do you think that mocking the grieving widow of Charlie Kirk when she posts an image of her at the coffin side, why do you think that constitutes?
Bro, I'm sorry. Okay, at first, I thought it was completely unhinged for Brittany Venti back then, at the very least, because that was like 2 years ago. I thought it was unhinged for Brittany Venti to go after Andrew Wilson's dead son, right? But yeah, you know what? Now it's justified. No, I think it's just, it really depends on where it's coming from, right? If the attack is based on like, you wanting to point out a hypocrisy between them, then yeah, like, fuck it. I think that's totally fair, yeah. Like, I no longer feel unhinged about that. I no longer feel like it's that unhinged, yeah. Because when things have progressed this far, like, this kind of, like, self-cuckoldry is not acceptable, yeah. In fact, I think it's based that Brittany Venti did not apologize to Andrew Wilson. Brittany Venti, again, she is, like, a pretty far-right, not a far-right conservative, she's like a moderate Republican conservative or something like that. But like they had a lot of infighting on the right, like among the right-leaning YouTubers, okay? And yeah, like it's just like Jesus.
Turning down the temperature.
You can't turn down the temperature on your own. The president of the United
You
States is
inflame the
not
temperature.
able
You're
to-
mocking
No,
his
it's
widow.
already inflamed.
You're
What are you
mocking his
talking
widow.
about? We've had multiple political assassinations over the past year. What do you mean it's turning up the temperature?
Why did you
to
mock his
everybody
widow?
Online
Ever.
because
Why
she's
did you mock
being
his widow?
because she's being used as a political weapon right now
Wow.
for conservatives to continue. What do you mean? Wow, she's literally doing.
Her husband just got
recruitment ads
murdered.
on email. Yeah, and she's using it to drive up recruitment. For
And
a
you
political
can't even
movement.
condemn the murder. You won't
The
condemn
president
it.
can't even tell.
What was the context for her doing that? Oh, they were in the middle of a beef. Like they were beefing with one another. For the record, okay, I don't think Brittany Venti did it for purely like mean girl reasons, okay? Listen, if mocking someone's dead son is like mean girl reasons, but I think that Brittany Venti these days would have my blessing, okay? If she determined that she wanted to point out like the hypocrisy of the Republicans, which I'm pretty sure like wouldn't apply that much, okay? Because she's Republican, she probably like does the same thing as the other Republicans right now. So I don't know, I don't care. But like, let's just say there was a like, if she suddenly turned like left leaning, and she was just like, I don't know, yeah, it's just yeah. I think it's fine. Otherwise, me defending Destiny on making fun of Asmongold's dead mom would be hypocritical, right? Does that make sense? So I need to be consistent here. I'm just trying to be consistent, okay? Yes, you can make fun of dead family members, okay? Because, I don't know, if you want to prove a point. Fair enough.
His side
You're
to
so
turn the temperature
deranged
down.
about Trump that you
are
cannot condemn the
unhinged.
murder
It is such a
because you're
joke,
waiting
and
for
you guys
Donald
sit here
Trump to
and
say
make money
something.
off-
And the C thing, yeah, you know what? It's always the men in their lives, okay? First is Andrew Wilson, now it's Destiny, okay?
Off of it.
All right, let me bring in Jack. Let me bring in Jack Posobiec. I gotta say,
there's still no.
Bro, this guy has not been talking the entire time. Oh, wait, what the fuck? This guy looks like he's been traumatized. Dude, he looks like he's going through it. What the fuck? What is going on here?
No answer to that question, Piers. You can't say,
Which question?
Why can't Donald Trump simply go on TV and say, we all need to turn it down?
Fine.
Like Biden could, like Obama could,
Fine.
like the Clintons
He
could,
sounds as
like
dumb
Obama
as he
could. Why
looks.
not?
Okay.
Why can't you condemn the murder of
See,
Charlie
it's
Kirk?
unbelievable. I'm not the president
Why
of the United
can't
States.
you
answer that
condemn the
question. It's
murder of Charlie
unbelievable.
Kirk?
Unbelievable to me.
Why can't you condemn the murder of Charlie Kirk?
Because it wasn't my side that caused it. It should
Yes,
be the
it
one that
was.
is driving up
It
the
actually
rhetoric.
was
You
your
don't
side
know
that caused.
No, dude, I can't believe Piers is saying this. Dude, Piers is such a cuck. He's such a cuck for money. Holy shit. He's such a cuck. By the way, I just want to say, typically Piers would try to steel man if it's a more casual debate, right? Okay, not saying that there are casual debates on Piers Morgan, okay? But, like, typically he would try to steel man a little bit, saying, like, oh yeah, typically this side says this, typically this side says that, right? But in this one, I just want to say Destiny is completely outnumbered. Like, he's completely outnumbered here, right? 1v4. I don't know. Like, I think this person is against Destiny, but he's just shy, maybe. I don't know. But, like, again, this seems like a fucking 1v4, right? So the fact that, like, Piers Morgan, I just can't. Like, this is
It was your side.
This guy was raised in a white
He was
Christian
a
household.
radicalized
In a Christian
leftist
household. He
ideology.
wasn't radicalized by leftism at all. You have no proof of that whatsoever.
That's what
Just
the
like one that killed
investigators are
Melissa
saying.
Was a conservative, just like the people that firebombed Shapiro's house was a conservative, just like all the J6ers were
was not
conservatives,
a
just like the Proud
conservative,
Boys
he
were
was a
conservative.
pro-Palestinian activist
Every
out of
single one of
Harrisburg.
these people.
Whoa.
Oh, it's Jack Brzovic, what, the author of Unhuman, another person that Charlie's put a good one, dude.
But I'll give you one last chance, Destiny, to condemn the murder of Charlie
Yes, you are
Kirk.
acting like an unhuman.
Why can't I hear Donald Trump
Because you were against
condemn violence
humanity.
in this
All right,
country?
you
Why
won't
can't I
condemn
hear
it. Okay, we've
I
all
can't hear it.
heard.
That's insane
We've
to
all
me.
heard you repeatedly refuse to
And we've
condemn it.
heard Donald Trump refuse to condemn
Jack
it too. But for some
Posobiec.
reason, the leftists on YouTube are a bigger deal. Unbelievable.
Yeah, what's incredible is you don't have the basic humanity to condemn it. You'd rather taunt his widow. I find that sickening. Jack Posobiec.
I find it sickening that when people are getting killed in the country, the president of the United States on Fox and Friends, when they're begging him, what do you say to your followers that want revenge?
Yeah, okay, so I watched Destiny watch, like, the fucking Widow talk, just for a little bit, okay? It's 100% faked. It's 100%. Okay, that's enough. Okay, yeah.
He says, I don't know, all the
Sorry,
elections are rigged.
sorry. I mean,
It's the radical
okay.
Democrats. That's insane.
I mean, everyone expresses grief, anxiety, and depression in different ways, okay? Everyone expresses that in different ways. We should all be mindful of how everyone expresses grief in a different way, okay? That's what I actually mean, okay?
To me. And then the fixation is, well, who on Twitter and YouTube isn't condemning the violence?
All right, Jack
Piers,
Posobiec.
you have a great example here of the type of cancer I'm talking about, where when you present direct information, they refuse, they obfuscate, they refute, they say it's not true, they lie. You could see from the bullet casings, you could see from postings, you could see from everything out there that it's very clear what happened here. This is the same people who supported President Trump almost getting assassinated twice last year, Corey Capatore being assassinated
By
last year
conservatives.
in a situation. Again, see, just lies. That's all they do. They talk over. They don't even let you give a chance to speak. And something needs to be done, Piers. Something absolutely needs.
Oh my god, he is tweaking right now. For the record, okay? I know what he's feeling. He's feeling the debate spirit, okay? The angry debate spirit. Like, there are two states of debate that, like, both work. One is the angry debating, okay? One is, like, angry ADHD autism debating, which is, like, basically what kind of happened on its own when I was debating Hutch, right? When I was debating Hutch, I felt like the angry autism debate spirit, like the fucking Vyvanse coming on, okay? The Vyvanse debate spirit coming on, okay? The other one is the whole relaxed, I am dead on the inside, I am bored of this, and I want to go home, debate spirit, okay? That is a different aura, okay? But both are, accepted auras, okay? But yeah.
to be done. The city
Under or over odds on Erica Kirk finding a new husband within 6 months? How do you know she hasn't found one right now? Sorry, I need to go to the bathroom first, okay? Fuck. Okay, I'll replay this part while I go to the bathroom. I'm just gonna go pee, okay? Be right back.
humiliated, driven from the public discourse. I mean, you've got people who have completely dissociated with humanity because all they care about are clicks and YouTube streams and likes. Go to the casket, go to the gravesite, go talk to the widow. I don't even know how to discuss this with someone who's completely lost all touch with reality.
Yeah, I mean, Anna.
What's Jack's answer to why can't the president say we should all be less violent?
Right. Because you can't even condemn the cold-blooded execution of Charlie
Donald Trump
Kirk.
turns on
I
Destiny
don't think you're in a position to demand anything from anybody.
On YouTube. That's how I'm going to take my.
You're not in any position to condemn anybody for anything. You won't condemn a cold-blooded murder.
He's the president of the United States. He's the president of the United States. No one here can answer that question.
Basic humanity says the murder was horrific. Why can't you say it?
To be less violent.
Why can't you say it, Destiny?
For over a decade.
To say the murder was horrific and unacceptable.
Why can't Donald Trump say it?
You can't do it, can you?
Hear any words for Donald Trump?
All right, Annika Sperrin.
Donald Trump. Nothing exactly.
Annika Sperrin. To me, this is what I'm talking about. That I think there is an element of the left, the hard woke left, that have completely lost their minds. If you are not able to just outright simply condemn the murder of Charlie Kirk, and if you cannot stop yourself from mocking his grieving widow, you are sick, as I've just seen from Destiny.
The sick thing is weaponizing a widow's grief to try to do recruitment for your political party. That's probably one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen. She's showing up in emails for recruitment drives for TP USA.
Destiny? What did you think the assassination of a political figure would do? What did you think the outcome was going to be? What did you think the outcome was? And by the way, really, your behavior. Hold on. Hey, how about take it easy on the Adderall? Take it easy on the Adderall, and let me answer the question that Piers asked me.
You must have been really bullied today.
My behavior.
It's Vyvanse. It's Vyvanse. Okay.
Speak, please.
Oh my god, you know what Destiny should say? Oh my god, it would be so based. I don't know, dude. If he wants to be, if they want to go personal, that's fine, okay? Instead, Destiny should say like, you know what? No one should ever feel bad for you, you know, because you began appealing to MAGA, the people who don't care about women, when you have been offended by, a homeless person slapping your ass, right? By sexually assaulting you, right? You should just go there. You should just go there. For Andrew Wilson, if he goes there, just insult his dead son. Okay, it's really as simple as that. There's like there's like lethal bullets you can pull on these two. Okay, lethal bullets. Okay, okay. I'm not saying to go that nuclear. Okay, but I'm saying that it's there. So yeah, dude, I hate people being personal like that. Well, the thing is that like this is the realm of politics. Politics is about grabbing power, right? As Destiny says. And yeah, that's part of the power grab, right?
Behavior is not reliant on how anyone else behaves. Every morning I wake up and I make decisions about how I choose to react or respond to things. I don't wake up in the morning, check what Donald Trump has to say, and then base my own personal behavior on his behavior. I agree with you in that it would be very helpful to have the leader of this country want to turn the temperature down. And he hasn't done that. I agree with you on that. But
if Destiny does it, listen, it's a plus, okay? If Destiny does it, he'll get another Piers Morgan panel appearance, okay? The more edgy he is, the more Piers Morgan wants him on his show, right? Isn't this a part of grabbing power? Isn't this what power is all about?
That doesn't change the way I choose to respond to what's going on. The idea of mocking a woman who is now a widow.
What did Andrew Wilson's son die of? It was actually a really tragic and unfortunate car accident. Yeah, a freak car accident. Yeah, the details are very gruesome. Okay, just listen. Yeah, it was actually really unfortunate. But the thing is that, yeah.
With 2 young children who witnessed her husband get shot in the neck and bleed out to death. How could you mock that? What is wrong with you? I just don't understand it. That's it. I don't understand it. I don't understand you, Destiny. You have so much hatred in your heart, and at the same time, you judge others.
If you're going to weaponize somebody's grief against the other party, well, then of course people have a right to fight back against it. I think that she has every right to grieve in whatever way she wants, but when that grief is going to be weaponized to do recruitment, political recruitment, and further radicalization of the other side, then of course you not only have the ability to mock it, I think you have the obligation to mock it. It's insane.
Let me understand.
The obligation.
Let me understand your argument. So
Jesus.
Since others are using her grief to politically recruit, you think that it's okay to mock her specifically?
Since others are using her grief, she's the one who gave a 17-minute speech on TV where she talked about good versus evil. She's the one showing up in
Destiny,
TPUSA ads to 1 or 2 days after.
If someone assassinated my husband, I would not be able to have the level of composure she had during that speech. I would be out for blood. I understand why she's angry and why she said the things that she said. Okay, you need to understand what being a human is, what it's like to actually lose someone that you love, that you chose to spend your life with, that you chose to raise children with. A person who was violently and viciously assassinated like that. This is why I've moved away
and when something
from identifying as
you got bullied online. It's so funny.
God, my brain is being fucking viciously assassinated by this fucking panel.
It's so funny that you just said that you don't think about how other people act to define your behavior. Your entire political ideology now is somehow defined by the people that were mean to you on Twitter.
No,
if somebody
it's
cares
not.
about somebody who's
No,
grieving,
I understood
then you tell that
what
person,
the flaws
you
on
tell
the
that
left
person,
happen to
hey,
be. The
maybe you
weakness
should
in their
step back for a
arguments.
couple of
No,
weeks.
no, it's
Maybe
not
you should
about
take
the
some
way
time
I get
to grieve.
treated.
You don't
I get
say,
treated
hey,
like
let's throw a
crap from
camera in
both
front
sides
of
of the
you and have
political
you do
aisle.
mass recruitment for our political party while everyone over here is calling for civil war. It's unhinged. When you've got people like Matt Walsh of the Daily Wire, the
we're
president
talking to a guy who said he'd be okay with his own parents getting killed if they went to that Trump rally where that assassination
and we're talking to a
There's
woman
no
who went
reasoning
on and
with
did
you,
the whole
Destiny.
conservative media
There's
outlet with
there's
Tucker
no
Carlson
reasoning
and
with
Glenn
you.
Beck and had
Okay.
nothing bad to say whatsoever. I know where your bread is buttered. I know where
And
you're
it was
making your money
great. I
from.
had
Okay, that's
awesome
great.
conversations.
And
I don't regret it at
I know,
all.
that's great.
I also had a
And keep up with the
conversation with
personal
Jack
attacks 'cause you're
Posobiec
so
on her take. It was
brain-broken.
awesome.
Yeah, I know.
That's
Jack,
what
the guy over there
democracy is
gets
about.
paid by
Having
Russia
an
that
exchange
lies
of
about everything that
ideas.
comes out of-
Dude, yeah, but we don't live in a civil democracy right now. We're on the precipice of death. It's right now. It's the boundary of death. Wait, how do we have a democracy? How do we have a civil democracy, sit-down democracy, when at the same time the right is the ones that are saying like, "Oh, we have a civil war," right? You can't have your cake and eat it too, right? Because yeah, that discrepancy doesn't really make much sense to me. How could you have a civil war and at the same time you try to say like, "Oh yeah," like they said, "Oh, the other side pick their option," right? Their option is to fight, not to talk. But here you are still trying to encourage talking. I thought fighting was useless. I thought talking was useless. I thought all that's left now is to fight. Like, can you just choose one instead of picking the option that most convenience you for the fucking dialogue that you're having right now? It's just so gay and homosexual. Like, Jesus.
Yeah.
All right, let me bring in.
Right.
Let me
I
bring
don't
in.
agree with him on everything, but at least we
to
can have
this day.
dialogue.
Anna, you're completely right, by the way. Anna is completely right. And the irony of Charlie Kirk is that he led the way in going in to debate with people who hated him, and he would try and have respectful
Charlie
dialogue.
Kirk beat up on college students.
Unlike
That's all
you,
he did.
Destiny.
Let's be
Let me
real.
bring
Unlike
Andrew
me,
Wilson
I'm
in.
So do you.
Let me bring in
so
Andrew
do you.
Wilson.
So do you. You beat up on college students. You go on a college tour.
Charlie
You're going on a
Kirk is
college
trying to
tour
hold
right
higher
now
level
to
debates
beat
than
up
you guys
on
hold.
college students. What are you talking about, Destiny? That's what you're doing right this second, is going on a college tour to go beat up on college students. By the way, can I just ask you a question?
I don't
yes
exclusively
or no?
beat up on college.
Can you actually
No, but it was like to specifically go after Charlie Kirk, right? Like the thing is like, no, it's not exclusively college students. It was, yeah, like, yeah, no, okay, all right, sorry. I'll let
answer?
you finish.
Can you actually answer? Hang on, calm down. I just got one question. I got one question for you, and I want you to actually answer it. Are you glad Charlie Kirk is dead?
No, I don't think anybody in this country should be dying to political violence. It's insane. The past 5 years in
Then
this
just-
country has been crazy. But the reality
So
is,
then-
until
So
So then why did you say
Until
to your co-host that Trump deserved a bullet? Why'd you tell him that?
Until conservatives have to say, hey, we all need to be less violent, there's no purpose in Democrats doing it. Because every time Democrats disavow, you further entrench your guys' delusional beliefs that all the violence is coming on the left. Donald Trump can go on TV. He can say, Proud Boys, stand back and stand by. They can go on Parler and say, we heard you. They can go to the Capitol and break in and try to insurrect. They can get convicted in front of a jury. And then Donald Trump can pardon them. And we can come out and go, hey, guys, why aren't Democrats disavowing violence? And pretend that the problem is coming from the left. Democrats do a disservice to this country by disavowing violence constantly when the president of the United States
Let me
won't go
respond
on TV
quickly.
and say all of
Let me
us need to
respond
be less
quickly,
violent. How
Destiny.
easy
So
would that
the
be?
thing is, why did you say to your co-host
keep focusing
that
on me.
the
Keep
bullet
focusing on
that the
me. I'm
bullet
not here to
that
play-
the bullet was for Trump? Why did you say to your co-host
why did
that
Donald
the
Trump-
best
why did
place for the
Donald Trump
bullet was
call
Trump?
Kamala
Why did you
a
say that?
fascist? Why did Donald Trump call
It's a
him a
whataboutism.
fascist? That's what's
Whataboutism.
Yeah,
I'm
that's what
asking
you're
you a
doing right now.
question.
Whataboutism. The
I can't be
conversation is about
whataboutism if it's
my
my.
But whataboutism is the game of politics, right? Like, you can say it's whataboutism, but sometimes whataboutism is right? The double standards do matter. The double standards do matter from someone who, you know, practices double standards, right? You can, by the way, it's whataboutism only works when you're trying to use it intentionally to run away from a point. But if your point is the double standards, if your entire point is the double standards, then it's fine, right? Just, by the way, Rob Noor basically debates like this, right? Rob Noor, like, his entire point is that the Democrats do the same exact thing as the Republicans, right? Like, that's his entire debate, like, fucking format, right? Every single time Rob Noor debates, it's like, oh yeah, this is why the Democrats are exactly like the Republicans. Here are all the reasons for it, right? Yeah.
Question, Destiny.
Why won't Donald Trump disavow
Answer the
violence?
question.
All right, why don't we do this? Why don't we do?
But like the entire debate here is based around the double standard. Like that's the entire point. The entire critique is the double standard, right? You can't do a whataboutism because, first of all, Destiny condemns the shooter. He wants the shooter to die, right? He said it himself. He wants the shooter to die. So like not even that part works. It's just, I don't know.
Do this. Why don't we do this before I cut mics?
Because you don't care.
Destiny,
you don't care that Kirk's dead.
Destiny,
Just be honest,
allow
you fuck.
Andrew to repeat his question and let him ask the question. Then you answer it, okay, Andrew?
Well, to be fair, it's like a 1v4, right?
No, I want to hear the other side.
No, let him ask the question.
Donald Trump.
Let him ask the question, Destiny, and then you answer it. Andrew.
Destiny told his co-host, when asked point blank, if he wanted the bullet to kill Trump, that the worst thing that could have happened was the bullet missing. He said this to Pisco. I watched it, okay? This guy...
I showed this debate to my registered Democratic norming parents. My mom hated Destiny, loved Anna, and thought he was disgusting. Well, because your mom is a woman, and Anna is a woman. And typically, and this might sound a little harsh to say, okay? I promise this is not meant to be demeaning to your parents, okay? But I promise you that my mom would also love it when, like, other girls give, like, huge, like, girl energy, okay? On the panel, right? Like, when a girl is being a girl boss, anybody loves it. Like, any woman who's watching outside loves it, okay? But yeah, whatever. My dad said that he understood Destiny point, but felt he was way over the top. Yeah, that's how people feel about Trump. So, you know what? The point is communicated, okay?
Is an obfuscation machine. And if you know what else, Destiny, why should we believe you? I think you are glad Kirk is dead. And all of your tweets seem to prove that. And you would have been happy if Trump was assassinated. You've made that very clear. So why not just be truthful for once in your fucking life and say the truth, that you don't care that Kirk is dead, and you're actually probably glad he is. Isn't that really what's true?
Well, I mean, what Destiny should say is, like, honestly, you ready? You ready? I wish that Kirk died of natural causes, right? I wish that Kirk gently passed away in his sleep, right? That's what he should say, right? Because the thing is that if Kirk does die as a martyr, it would objectively be bad for Destiny, right? And the left overall. It would. It just would. Like, that's just a fact. That's just a fact, right? And nothing you do can change that fact. But the thing is yeah, I think that's probably the more correct thing to say. Or whatever, right? I don't know. Is that even allowed to be said? Am I allowed to say something like that? I don't know, whatever.
I don't want anybody in this country to die to political violence. I don't think in the United States of America that should be happening.
Die to political violence. Okay, close enough. Okay.
I don't know why it's so hard for the president to say the same. I think it'd be the easiest thing in the world as a president. Biden did it for 4 years. That's why everything...
Because I mean, it's bad for the left because, again, you can use him as a martyr, right? Again, you can use him as a martyr. But having a conservative pass away gently in their sleep or something means that they won't be able to make a martyr out of them all that much, right? Like, you can still do it, but it'll just be harder, right? Not as easy as this. This is easy martyrdom. This is, like, really simple and easy martyrdom, which sucks, right?
It was way cooler when he was here, like in terms of temperature. The Clintons have no problem saying it. Barack Obama has no problem saying it. Kamala Harris has come out and said it. Every Democratic lawmaker and leader has basically come out and said it. But for some reason on the Republican side, it's
just for the record, and I want to be totally clear about this, okay? If you're celebrating this as a political assassination, I'm afraid that you might be a little retarded, okay? Because even pragmatically speaking, I just want to say the fact that Charlie Kirk could be used as a martyr for this in order to incite civil war is unhinged. It's just not good. It's just straight up not good, right? Because the fact that the Republicans are able to advance their messaging for civil war is a bad thing, and we want to avoid civil war, obviously, right? We want to keep our democracy intact. If you want democracy to fall apart as fast as possible, then I mean, you're probably lefty who does like political assassinations. Fine then, whatever, man. But like the thing is you know, it is just objectively bad to celebrate political assassinations in this context, right? Just mainly because it just doesn't smell good. I mean, I'm still gonna be like, listen, I'm still gonna be like Rip Bozo, you know? I'm still gonna be Rip Bozo, right? Because I hate this guy. And I think that the irony is funny, and I'm celebrating the irony of it, but ultimately it's not really a good thing, right? Yeah.
Civil war, and the Republican president of the United States, who has presided over more violence politically in this country, more large protests than any president in all of U.S. history, for some reason can't bring himself to say, all of us need to calm down. And
So
until
did
that
Trump
happens,
deserve
there's no
the
reason for
bullet?
anyone allowed to say it.
Did Trump
This is-
deserve the
wait, yeah,
bullet?
This is all you care about are the political hate jobs.
Just
It's
answer the
absolutely insane
question,
to me.
bro.
It's
Did
so
Trump
insane
deserve
to
the
me.
bullet?
Did Donald
Did
Trump
he deserve the
disavow violence
bullet?
on his side ever? Did Donald Trump
Answer
disavow
the
violence on his
question.
side
Did
ever?
Trump deserve the bullet?
You can't answer the question. We're here to.
Well, it's very easy. It's very easy. No, Trump doesn't deserve the bullet. You ready? Because otherwise, Trump wouldn't have gotten that sick-ass shot and became a martyr, in a way, without actually dying. Right? So no, I think that's cucked as fuck. Yeah, I think that's cucked. So pragmatically speaking, even then, yeah, I don't think he deserves the bullet. That's crazy. Because, yeah, like he is made into a political icon the days following that. Yeah, of course I don't want that. What the fuck? But, you know, whatever.
No, bro, it's my
find
turn
tweets
to ask
and
the
YouTube
question.
video
It's your
clips.
turn to answer.
It's
Did
YouTube video
Trump deserve
clips.
the
and
bullet?
did Trump disavow violence in this country ever?
Did he deserve the bullet? Yes, he's
Answer my
decided
question, I'll
violence.
answer yours.
But again, I just did. Now your turn. Now your turn. It's your turn.
Did Donald Trump,
Did Trump deserve the bullet?
I never said that. No, I never said that. No.
Okay, except you did to your co-host.
No,
You
I didn't.
said-
Oh, wait, when did
your
Donald Trump
exact
disavow-
words-
wait, when did
your-
Donald Trump
your
disavow
exact
violence
words
in
to
this
your
country?
co-host, you lying sack of shit. If he wanted
I'm the lying
to kill
sack of
Trump,
shit?
the
No
worst
way.
thing that could
Okay,
have happened
Donald Trump
was the
disavowed
bullet
all political
missing.
violence. And
That's what you said,
this is,
bro.
yeah. And this is when
You're
you're
the
putting
biggest lying sack of
YouTubers, when you're
shit,
putting
bro.
YouTubers and tweeters on the same level as the president of the United States. This is why conservatives are absolutely brain broken when it comes to violence in this country. That's why it'll continue.
But
There'll be more
Destiny-
deaths.
but Destiny-
Maybe it'll be me at the next one. Who knows? There'll be
Well, I do
more
agree
people
you
die.
want
And
to
you guys
continue.
are all going to turn around and be like, I can't believe it. What's going on? What's happening here?
Okay, Destiny, if you care so much about political violence in America, why don't you lead the way yourself without
can't,
mentioning
because
anybody
one
else?
side-
Why don't
because
you?
one side-
Why don't you, Destiny, right now, just outright condemn the murder of Charlie Kirk?
Because we've been doing that for a decade. One side can't
can't
turn
do it,
down
can you?
the temperature.
You can't
The other
do
side
it.
can't turn down the temperature. If Donald Trump can't, then the left.
This is Andrew Wilson's first laugh, okay? I just don't think he actually finds that funny or anything like that. Like, it just sounds so fake. I don't know why he does this, like, fucking performative laughter as if he actually finds something funny. I don't know. I just feel like Andrew Wilson as a whole, he just seems so fake, right? He's too afraid to be vulnerable, like me, okay? He constantly tries to act like a badass all the fucking time, right? But yeah, like, he's just so cringe. Like, he's just so it just, like, it all comes off as extremely performative and not actually, you know, being a genuine human being, I guess? But yeah, you know what? Whatever.
Shouldn't until he does.
Got it.
Republicans
Okay, you don't want to do
need
it.
accountability
Okay,
for
Jack-
their actions. They need some responsibility for the insanity.
He had
that
it coming,
caused.
Even though
didn't he?
you've taken on
He had
yourself.
it coming.
Let me bring in Jack Posobiec.
We absolutely.
All
Democrats
right,
will
that's
take
enough,
accountability.
Destiny.
It's their
I'll bring
fault.
in Jack Posobiec.
Yeah,
Jack.
okay. Nice. Both sides it.
Jack.
Yeah.
Bro, this is like the Nightmare Blunt rotation. This is like the Nightmare Blunt rotation of, like, Destiny Marathon debates, dude. It's like when he debates, like, 50 trillion people in a row, except, like, the 3 trillion people are, like, 3 people who are all simultaneously giving us all, like, brain cancer. Advancing us to stage 5, okay? Because stage 4 is simply not enough.
What is your response to this?
I mean, Piers, this is exactly what I'm talking about. You know, this type of ideology where you've got someone who's willing to mock Erica, who's been standing strong for her family, for her children, who's just she will never be able to grow old with Charlie. She will never be able to be with them again, have more children, to have grandchildren, to have those memories, to raise.
What the fuck? You want Charlie to stay around so then he can procreate? You know what? You know what? I mean, if you want to create more fatherless children, then fine, I guess. But okay, cool.
Them, it's all gone. Every single moment of that future that they had was gone because someone fired a bullet at Charlie Kirk that said, "Hey, fascist, catch." And now you have people celebrating it. And when you ask people
That's
about
not even
it,
the
they
bullet
say,
that was fired.
"Oh,
How are you lying
oh,
about this
Shut
even?
up, Destiny.
Holy
shut
shit!
up.
You're so
Shut
shameless,
up.
dude. Oh my god! You're not even inside the right bullet. You're such a disgusting
Piers.
piece of shit. Holy fuck!
What a pedantic
Are we-
point. What a
are we
It's not
even gonna
pedantic.
do
These
this?
guys are fucking
It's
professional.
total
players.
pedantry.
Have
It's
their
total
debates.
pedantry. Total.
Bro, there's no way Andrew Wilson is the one complaining about pedanticness. Dude, what? That's insane. That is nuts. Okay? Dude, Andrew Wilson complaining about another person's pedanticness. What's next? Hitler complaining about another person's Holocaust?
Guy probably
I would like to let
Jesus.
Jack. I would like to let Jack finish his point, please.
Yeah,
and,
it's just
and
rant
they'll
here.
claim there's no leftist connection. They'll claim there's no there, and then go so far as to lie and say there's some kind of Christian conservative connection when you could see the writing on the bullet casings. And so these are very common symbols associated. Whatever the point is, right?
What, the 3 arrow symbol? I'm assuming it's the 3 arrow symbol. If it's the 3 arrow symbol, it means they oppose fascism, communism, and well, I forgot what was the 3rd symbol, but whatever.
It should be very, very clear. Are we connected with our humanity or are we not? And some people are willing to do that. Anna's been willing to do that. We've done shows together. They've been fine.
Was the Republicans connected with their humanity when they were thrusting like this fucking 8-year-old black child with brain cancer out onto the fucking public stage? In order to like fucking ceremoniously brand him as like a member of the Secret Service, even though like Trump was cutting cancer research funding? Is that being in touch with your humanity?
They've been good. We've jousted. We've done the back and forth. Dustin and I in the past have had
Like Jesus Christ, the fucking Nazis back in Germany were more human than this by displaying Jews playing soccer and playing football in order to use as propaganda while at the same time sending them to the death camps.
have had shows together where
Jesus.
before he kind of took this turn, and you think there are people who can just be willing to stand up for humanity.
Jack, it reminds me a bit of the journey I've gone on, very different circumstances, but the Israel-Hamas war. The reason I asked everybody on the pro-Palestinian side for months after the war started, do you condemn what Hamas did, is I think it was very enlightening as to the humanity of the person by how they responded. If their immediate response was, of course I do, the mass murder of civilians on October the 7th was a horrendous atrocity, then we can move on to an intellectually honest debate. If they refuse to condemn what Hamas did, it's a completely different debate. And similarly, right now, I feel if you can't condemn a lot of what the IDF are doing, frankly, it's my opinion, in Gaza, then the same thing. If you're unequivocally like, it's all fine with 20,000 plus kids being killed, then I've got a problem with that too. But I do think you've got to try and maintain in all of these debates a modicum of humanity about people who are actually being...
Wait, why? It's kind of the same thing. Why would you condemn Hamas in front of a zealous Netanyahu, far right Israeli, right? Why would you do that? It's the same thing, right? You don't want to give them any ground when they refuse to give you any ground as well, right? If they're saying on their side, if they're saying, oh, we should glass Gaza and build a parking lot there, right? If they say something like that and then they ask you to condemn Hamas, why the fuck should you? Fuck that shit, yeah.
Being killed. And what is terrifying about the mindset of a lot of people on the woke left I've seen since Charlie Kirk's death is the brazen glee that they're taking to his murder. And then when I see even Destiny, who's a very well-followed person on the internet, well-known, when Destiny, frankly, if you can't bring yourself just to say the murder was horrific and should never have happened, it's a very simple sentence. It's just basic humanity. It really makes me just...
I'll be honest, okay? Piers Morgan is giving Destiny layups, okay? All right? Every single time Piers Morgan... every time Piers Morgan gives a take or asks a question about, like, being in touch with their humanity, there's, like, 5 trillion counters to that, okay? But, yeah, okay. I mean, like I'm just saying, you can bring up literally any kind of, like, any example. You can literally just bring up any example of the Republicans doing unhinged shit, right? And being hypocrites about it. So yeah, like that's a layup. That's a layup. Okay, that's a layup. You gotta take it though. You gotta take it.
Fair for where everything is going, because it's indicative of the mindset of I can't give an inch to my political opponents, therefore I lose my humanity. How can that be right?
Because you can't give an inch to political opponents that won't recognize or acknowledge anything they've done is wrong. It's all it's done is gotten us here. This is where we're at because of that exact mindset. Will any of the conservatives here acknowledge the conservative that murdered Melissa Hortman and her husband and shot the other senator in Minnesota?
Oh, perfect. Okay, yes, that's what I was looking for. Good. Yep.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, just
that it was
about
a conservative shooter. That it was a conservative shooter.
I don't know the details on that particular case. If I did, and
Okay. So Andrew Wilson doesn't know the particular details of that particular case, but he feels so strongly about Charlie Kirk's unwarranted neck fountaining. Okay, very cool. Awesome.
doubt that it was
Good
and
one.
it turned out it was
Yep.
the case. Of course, I would say that such violence should be disavowed. Thing is, you can't hold your entire moral standard based on what you think Trump is doing or not doing. What does that have to do with you, Destiny? It has nothing to do with you. You can easily
has to
just
do
say
with is that
you
when
can lead by
conservatives
example and say
refuse
let's
to
all tone
acknowledge-
down the
You can't
violence.
lead by
That's
example.
what you
I'm not
want,
the president
right?
of the United States. That's what Democrats have been doing.
Wait,
for
you
the
can't
last
lead by
decade.
example because you're not the president. That's the
when one
stupidest thing I've
side,
heard
if
today.
one
Destiny.
side wants to fight and the other side doesn't, then you're going to fight. One side can't decide not
What
to
are you
fight.
talking?
If the other
That
side
makes no
decides to.
sense. What does that have
What do
to
you
do
mean
with
it makes
you?
no
You
sense?
can-
If
you
some
can
guy comes up to
easily-
you to
you
fight,
can easily
and the
just
other
say it
side
now,
says, I
Destiny.
don't want to, you don't really have the choice.
You know what? Yeah. I mean, the thing is that I would probably say something like this. When if you give Republicans the milk, they'll take your cookies. If you give them the cookies, they'll take your milk. If you give them both, they'll ask for more. Okay, even though you have none.
There. It's
Lead
that's
by
how fighting
example, then.
works.
Lead by
You
example.
can't lead by
and show
example.
us.
That's called dying.
You can.
Actually,
Right
I
now,
thought,
you
I
do
thought,
it right
I
now.
actually thought,
Do it right
I
now.
actually
That's
thought.
what you-
Let me jump in.
'Cause you're actually happy
Let me
about
jump
it,
in
Destiny.
here.
Just be honest, you're happy
I actually
about it.
felt that Anna hit the nail on the head here, which is she did not need to wait for Donald Trump to comment on this to make her own mind up about what had happened. That is intellectual honesty, right? Yes, it may have been somebody that she totally
Anna's
disagreed
a
with
right-wing
on many
talking
issues.
head.
The simple, humane thing to do with any event like this is to ask yourself, how do I personally feel about it? Not what does Donald Trump think about it, or what does Joe Biden think about it, or what does Timbuktu think about it. It's what do I personally feel about this. It didn't take me very long, Destiny, to understand that I felt repulsed by the execution of somebody.
Yeah. I don't nobody cares if you feel repulsed. Like, what the fuck? Facts don't care about your feelings? ? Is that tired yet? Is that phrase tired yet?
In cold blood with his wife and 2 young children there watching.
Don't ban me.
It's a
Don't ban you.
human reaction. I don't need to know what Donald Trump thinks about it at all. I don't understand why you need to wait for him before your own
I don't
humanity
need to wait
kicks
for
in.
anybody. No, you're not asking how we feel about it. You're asking what the public statements should be. And the public statements should
No,
be the
I'm
president
not.
of the United States.
I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No,
You're
I'm
asking
not.
me for a public statement
I'm
right
asking,
now.
where
You're
is
gonna
your
great watching a
humanity? You
colleague
can't
getting
just say
murdered?
the
Where
murder
is your
was
humanity,
wrong.
Piers? You guys are playing into this exactly. I think you probably know it. I think Cornell was right about this. You know where your bread is buttered as well. You guys play into this. It's insane to me that the president of the United States can't say, hey, all of us need to be less violent. We all need to calm the fuck down. That the president of the United States can't say this, but you will endlessly scour Twitter and YouTube for leftists to bring on and say, don't you guys disavow the violence? It's absolutely absurd to me.
Cornel West should have stayed in his seat. We were debating free speech, actually, and whether
You're not debating free
and
speech.
whether
It's not
well, let me
even an
finish.
equivalent
Let me
conversation,
finish,
Piers.
and whether the
It's insane.
overuse.
Well, I mean, you know what they say about free speech, right? Is that free speech is not free. It's paid for through effort and blood, right?
Whether the overuse of words like Hitler, Nazis, and fascists was actually empowering deranged young minds to think they were battling actual new Hitler, Nazis, and fascists. And actually, when Andrew pointed out to Cornell that he had used the phrase neo-fascist about Trump, that's when Cornell decided he couldn't take part in the debate anymore, when he was reminded of something he had said. He didn't try and deny it. He just said, I don't want to have this debate, and left.
Piers, how long have you been in the United States, following our politics?
Over 20 years.
Yeah, and that's the Giga Chat thing to do. Like, isn't it like free expression to not talk? Pleading the fifth? Just kidding. That's for, fucking detainments and arrests and stuff. But, you can just say, yeah, it's also my right to not talk. My freedom to speak doesn't imply a freedom... doesn't imply a forcing of the speech, right? My freedom to speak also means a freedom to stay silent, right?
I've lived and worked in America.
Okay, if you've lived and worked in America, I grew up as a conservative listening to Rush Limbaugh and to Glenn Beck and to Billy Cunningham and to Sean Hannity. You're going to sit here and pretend like Democrats are the ones that started the name calling? I heard them call Obama and the Clinton socialists and communists.
When did I say that?
Heard them call, I'm just saying, why are we pretending that some people...
I'm saying, why did Cornel West,
household?
why would Cornel West walk out on a debate when we're literally talking about the importance of speech? Makes no sense to me.
If speech is important, then the president should exercise it more cautiously.
So should you.
And Republicans have been... You can't stop
You've
a
got
fight.
millions of followers, and you think it's fine to show them. You're mocking a widow.
You cannot...
Well, okay, chill. Destiny doesn't have millions of followers, okay? Probably hundreds of thousands. Listen. I'm as much of a Destiny fan as the next person, okay? But Let's chill on the millions of followers part, okay? Jesus.
Not choose for your opponent not to fight you.
Fine.
If
You
Republicans
mocked
won't
a
turn
grieving
down
widow.
the rhetoric, then fine. Then who cares? Donald Trump
Who
should have
cares?
used the rhetoric that led her to being
Who cares?
killed. 2 days before she
Who
dies,
cares
Donald
that you
Trump's
mocked
tweeting
a
out
grieving
pictures.
widow?
This is all. It's just virtue signaling. You guys
There
are
it is.
You guys are excited about it. You guys love it.
How is it-
You love
how
the
is it that you
violence.
said this
You
guy
love the
can't possibly be a
conflict.
leftist?
It's exciting to you. It's insane to me.
Yeah.
No.
How
this
is it that you
exciting.
said this guy can't be a
This isn't
leftist
good.
because he grew up in a white Christian household when you grew up in a white Christian household by your own admission just now and you're a fucking leftist, Destiny?
I'm
Can you explain that
36
to me?
years old. This guy was 22 and he lived at
What
home
does that have to do with
basically his entire
anything?
life.
What does that have to do with
I
anything?
had 20 years to separate myself from my parents' ideology. I didn't live with them still. Jesus.
So 6 months, 1 year, 20 years? Why does it matter how long it took to separate? You just got to say it was impossible, and you yourself are a leftist who grew up in a Christian conservative household, dude. You're the worst hypocrite I've ever seen.
Hold on,
You're the
I'm sorry.
worst hypocrite.
You think that a 22-year-old has as much time to separate himself from the ideology that he grew
Did
up
I
with
say
as
that?
a 36-year-old?
Didn't say
You
it.
just made
It's
the
a
comparison,
pedantic,
dipshit.
stupid
Of course
point.
you did. It's not
Let me
pedantic.
ask,
I made the
let me-
comparison literally on the
Let me
subject.
radicalized.
What a
Look at
stupid
you.
point.
Let me
You're the
jump
most
in.
radicalized
Let me
fucking-
jump in.
Yeah.
Let me jump in. Let me ask Jack. Jack, you know the Kirk family well. You've been around the Kirk family, I think, since this is appalling murder has happened. When you hear Destiny saying, who cares?
Oh, well, I mean, then I think Jack should get that checked out then, right? If you've hung around Kirk's family, you should go get a CAT scan in case you have like stage 4 brain cancer. Careful, okay? These guys are pretty radioactive, okay?
About the fact that he openly, publicly mocked Erica
I
Kirk,
heard that thing was
a grieving
contagious.
widow, within literally a day or two of her husband being murdered. How does that make you feel as a friend of the family?
It's very angry, Piers. You know, and here's the thing: is
Is he doing this like fuck? Like, do you think that he applied makeup on himself and like red around his eyes to like fucking fake that shit like a disgusting fuck? Like, do you think this guy is trying to do a low voice on purpose? So then he is like trying to like do a fucking fraud fucking here and just like pretend that he is actually like deeply impacted by this? Like, God, just look at this like fucking pathetic fuck. If you're actually grieving, if you're actually mourning, why the fuck would you appear on a panel like this? You're a fucking moron, okay? Like, the reality of this is that chances are you're either grieving, you're either not grieving hard enough or you're not grieving at all, right? Why the fuck would you hop onto a Piers Morgan panel if you're grieving in any fucking way? You fucking moron inbred. Why aren't you doubling over in grief? Like what the fuck?
is she's seeing all of it. She's going to see all of it. Her kids are going to watch this video one day. It's just that's sort of the nature of reality now.
Yeah, and they're also gonna watch you debate Destiny, most likely, right?
They will see all of this,
And then they'll see how much of a cuck you are, okay?
and they will see the reaction. And I just hope that those of us who knew Charlie, worked with Charlie, who knew Charlie beyond the, TikToks and short videos, can also be there for those kids as they grow up to let them know who their dad was.
And
Kids are going to grow up and watch old episodes of Piers Morgan uncensored. How performative is this? Is everybody here? Did we all get like a script before the show? What?
You're
watch a lot of old
embarrassing.
episodes of the
It's so
JFK.
embarrassing. You make the left look so bad, and you don't even realize it. You are
My God.
serious.
Concern trolling detected. Anti-fan concern trolling detected. Anti-fan concern trolling. Whoop, 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 whoop. Anti-fan concern trolling.
So embarrassing.
Careful.
Okay, yeah.
God.
You can talk to your best friend.
You really
Glenn
are.
Beck about
I mean,
it
like,
later,
you-
have
do you
another
feel-
30-minute conversation about it, Anna.
Maybe I
talk about
will.
how
Maybe I will talk to
Wokies
Glenn Beck about
on
it. Oh,
Twitter
is
are
that
bullying you about
ooh?
it.
Is that naughty? Is it
How many
naughty to have
conversations have you had with
people
Nick?
across the aisle?
You guys have
You
in
had more
common now.
conversations
People
with
on
Nick than
Twitter are
anyone.
So mean. Oh no, not the meanies on Twitter.
Anna,
How many
finish
more
your point.
lawsuits are
Chicken
you
and
going to face
waffles
from
with
women
Nick
that you
Fuentes?
allegedly secretly
Like, what do you
recorded
mean?
during intimate moments? Destiny, I can't believe anyone
are you
takes you
se- are you
seriously.
really?
You're
You wanna
disgusting.
pull out Twitter?
You're
You wanna pull out
embarrassing,
Twitter?
and you should be
Yeah, keep going,
shunned
Anna.
from
Yep.
public life with
Keep
your
playing it.
disgusting
My God,
treatment
I can't
of all
believe you
sorts
got
of people.
bullied.
I think whatever Andrew Wilson says, like while Destiny is feuding with Anna right now, he should just ignore everything Andrew Wilson says because that'll piss him off, okay? You know what's the best way to piss off Andrew Wilson? Treat him like a woman. Okay? Treat him like how Andrew Wilson treats a woman. Okay? That's the best way to piss him off. Alright? He'll be on the other side.
Including young
This is what you
left-wing
become.
girls, women
You're turning
that you
more
victimize
blonde right now
allegedly.
in the window. You're
Yeah,
so,
that's who
you're
you
like
are.
2 shades away from
You're
being a Fox News
embarrassing.
host, Anna.
You
Keep
embarrass the
going.
left.
You gotta
You're the
go
type
get
of
go get
person
some
who
lip
pushes
filler there.
people
You
away
gotta-
from the
You're so
left.
close,
Make
Anna.
sure you understand that. You're
Yep.
embarrassing. There's no morality with you. There's no grounding
Absolutely
values.
not.
There's
Of
no
course
principles.
not, yeah.
All you want is attention, 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 attention. That's all you
Absolutely.
want.
Yeah, of
That's
course.
all
What
you
you and
want.
Jake talked
Endless
about 9/11
attention.
was
Say
caused by the
disgusting,
Jews, and you have
provocative
another
garbage.
Another
If you
friendly
want
conversation with
attention.
another mainstream conservative commentator about how you're such a leftist, but those people on Twitter are so mean.
Having a debate or dialogue doesn't automatically
Man, I even forgot that happened. That was crazy.
mean that you agree with everything they have to say. It means you're coming
No, it's
together
when you sit down and you
you're
agree with
exchanging
everything they have to
ideas
say.
and
Then you agree
debating
with everything they
them.
have to say.
No, I don't agree with everything they have to
You
say.
do.
What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah, you do.
I
Of
don't
course
agree
you
with
do.
everything
What do
they
you
have
mean?
to say. But I'm
When
an
you
adult.
sit down and
I
all
can
of your
sit down and have a
criticisms are
mature
for the
debate
left,
or
and you have no
conversation.
disagreements about anything on the right, yeah, that's called
I do
agreement.
have
That's usually
criticisms
what
for
we
the
call it.
left. I have tons of criticisms for the right. Tons of criticisms. I'm obviously
They don't seem to come out
pro-choice,
much
for
when you're
instance.
talking to
I
your-
obviously
What is this?
This chair. Every day he loved it. He loved what he did.
So this is the first out of a total 11
What
of
is
fake
this?
cries. Their intensity level will peak about halfway
I think that Destiny watched this. I just didn't watch this entire thing, or maybe I wasn't paying attention. I don't know.
through this video, during some of the more embarrassing performances you're ever likely to witness on the internet.
Mr. President, my husband loved you.
Jesus. Homo?
And he knew that you loved him too. He did.
Okay.
Your friendship was amazing.
Okay, why do you have to say it like that? Because now everyone thinks that they had a secret homosexual relationship with one another. What the fuck?
You supported him so well.
You'll notice that she doesn't wipe her eyes or blow her nose. As for the tissue, the detective later
Like, no wonder he was killed. It was killed by a fucking jealous gay person. Jesus Christ. We have a fucking love quadrilateral going on.
testified remained completely dry.
As did he for you. But my husband's favorite word in the English language
Was cum.
was earn.
Oh, never mind. Foodshops doesn't watch JCS. A little bit, but I get kind of bored of it. Whatever.
have a huge
Oh, the big
problem
guns, yeah.
with the unending, unmitigated support for Israel, regardless of the genocide they're engaging in. I have all sorts of disagreements with the right. That doesn't mean I'm going to dehumanize them and cheer on the slaughter of my fellow Americans because we have disagreements on politics. You're
I wish
embarrassing.
anybody here had the same energy for the president of the United States, but that's good. I'm glad you guys are focused where it really counts on Twitter. And
Dude,
YouTube.
you have
It's what the
like
conservatives want you to be
TDS,
focused
like
on, you know?
you are like the prototype
TDS,
of
yeah,
TDS.
there
It's
we go.
TDS,
unbelievable. You wake up every morning and you decide
Yeah,
your
that's
behavior is going
true.
to hinge on Trump.
Tell me more
Who
about
are
the
you as an
Israelis
individual?
and building
God, have a little bit
and
of
how the
humanity.
Jews all knew about 9/11
You're
and they all want us to go to war.
You're
to
a
go to- Yeah, of course.
sociopath.
Let me
Not
bring in-
once said the
okay.
Jews
Let me
were
bring in
behind
Jack
9/11.
again.
Not
Let me-
once. Don't make things up, you disgusting prick.
Let me
That's
bring
okay,
in
don't
Jack
worry.
again. Let me bring in Jack again. Jack, Peter Navarro earlier was talking about directly to Elon Musk about, in his view, the urgent need for Elon Musk to detoxify X, given that he owns a platform, and that he blamed X for a lot of the toxicity in public discourse. What do you feel about that?
Well, you know, I think there's obviously a tension between, standing and wanting free dialogue and freedom of.
Look, if every single Piers Morgan episode could be like this, where he can just bring on Anna, Andrew, forget about Jack. This guy's non-tent, okay? No, actually, no. If only if you can trigger Jack, okay? Only if you can trigger Jack. If you could bring on all of these four every episode, oh my god, I would be Piers Morgan's #1 fan. I would be Piers Morgan's. Listen, Piers Morgan's is just Jay Stelk. If he actually had a career, okay? That's Piers Morgan, okay? This is like a fucking Jay Stelk, like fucking slop fest. All right? Bam.
Speech, but also maintaining a line beyond calling for violence and calling for direct violence or direct criminal act.
Oh my god. Piers Morgan is Jay Stelk if he didn't quit his software engineering job. Oh my god, everything starts to make sense now. This is the other timeline.
Activity. So, X in its original Twitter fashion, if you go all the way back to 2012, 2010, when it was really getting going, they used to pretty much the main things that were banned or would get taken down or get accounts banned were posting of direct addresses of people's, or doxing, or posting direct threats to violence. And so I think there needs to be that line set of, this is acceptable discourse, this is a back and forth, but the idea that a direct call for violence should be banned, I think that's something that I would support.
Andrew, what do you feel about the social media aspect of all this? Do you think that it is culpable to a degree in the surging text?
Andrew is the right person to ask, because he literally spends all his time on Twitter and in Red Pill, like on YouTube chat. Like Andrew Wilson, like this guy was meat watching Tom Fuller's show when Tom was still popular back then, and before his controversy, before the Tom tent, right? Yeah, he was constantly lurking in Tom's chat. This guy's like terminally online.
Toxicity of debate about these things?
Look, social media is a tool. And what social media has done right now is it's allowed us to get a glimpse into leftist ideology, finally. And
are J Stock and Queenman still worth covering, or has all this Kirk stuff left them in the dust? Well, the thing is that like all they're covering is also Kirk stuff, right? So it's not like you can avoid covering Kirk anyway. If I'm gonna cover Kirk, like I just don't really want to feel like covering like two cancerous fucking things at the same time. I don't know. It's just fucking. I think that's enough cancer that I can handle. Yeah.
We get to see the insane madness that was always there.
Look, anti-fan stuff will always be there, okay? Like, these people are not going away anytime soon. After this Kirk stuff dies down, yeah, we'll go back to covering anti-fans. Yeah, of course. After the court case is over, then I'll probably quit content creation because there's nothing else.
And the fact of the matter is that, you know, here on the panel right this second, you have a guy who celebrated a multitude of these types of things, including telling his co-host that basically Trump, the worst place that the assassin could have put the bullet was anywhere other than Trump. I mean, I got the clip of him doing it. And so the thing is like what we've noted now, these people are glad. They're glad, they're happy, they love it. I go on TikTok all the time and I debate with these people. It's very clear that leftists are glad that this happened and that they're going to do everything they can to promote more of it. And we're supposed to base our behavior on what the president does or doesn't say. What, like if I had Biden derangement syndrome, I couldn't still come out and condemn political violence? Of course I could. But the thing is
I'm
that
just curious. Anybody have any words for the?
But okay. But I thought that Andrew Wilson was like pro political violence. Like fuck. I feel like Andrew Wilson is like one of the first LARPers to come out of his fucking closet to go and fight, or maybe just running away, okay? Like to go out there and fight the moment Civil War happens. I feel like Andrew Wilson is extreme enough for that, right? Like, fuck, I feel like Andrew Wilson like does not match his own energy, okay? Like when he's like going off on Twitter. On Twitter, he's just constantly like fucking fear-mongering and talking about like being ready and shit, right? Fuck, I need to check Andrew Wilson's Twitter. It has to be like this fucking crazy pro-violence shit, 100%.
Leftists
Charlie Kirk said that Biden should have been executed.
Leftists collectively can't seem to do that, though. I don't know why they can't seem to do that.
No, that was fine when Charlie Kirk said that. Okay,
Anna,
gotcha.
I want to mention something to you, which I was going to talk to Cornel West
Charlie
about.
Kirk was a moderate. He was more moderate than a local electrician.
Yeah, nice pivot.
He was more moderate than a local
Nice
electrician.
pivot.
Than a local electrician? That's a weirdly specific example that I don't really quite get unless you knew about the political views of a local electrician. But okay.
You know that, by the
He
way.
said he
You know
wanted to
that.
see Biden.
You have debated with the worst,
He
and
said
I
he
see
wanted
you
to
do it.
see
You know.
Biden executed. Okay, give me a
No,
fucking
that's
break.
not
dude.
what
I
he
don't care about
said.
any of this
That's
stuff.
not what he
This is
said. He said
performance.
if you
This is
violate
performative
criminality
outrage.
in criminal
This is
laws,
performative
then that will
outrage.
be the case.
Biden
All right, I want to
wasn't
ask
found
Anna.
There's not-
violating
what's
criminal law.
performative? What's
Oh,
performative?
wait, so I say, oh well, you know, I think that guy was a criminal, therefore the execution is okay. Somehow that makes everything fine with no investigation, no criminal
You
charges.
say all the
Give
time
me a break.
that your political opponent
Performative.
should be in jail.
Electrician is a
The highest
groper.
extent of the
This
law.
is
You say it all the
performative.
time. What are you talking about?
Sorry, no, that's Donald
saying
Trump.
the word
He's one who's
performative doesn't mean
activating the
anything.
National Guard right now.
Oh, it's just
putting bullshit
performative.
investigations into
Oh,
every
that's just
political
performative.
party.
I want to bring Anna
You're just
back
being
in.
performative.
I want to bring Anna
You're just
back
being
in.
performative.
Okay, I want to bring Anna back in because the president-elect of the Oxford Union, probably the most premier debating society in the world, I've done it several times myself, George Aberonye, reportedly posted he did post several comments in a WhatsApp group appearing to celebrate the murder of Charlie Kirk. One said, Charlie Kirk got shot. Let's fucking go. Another one was, I think, it's LOL. This guy is going to be the president of the Oxford Union Debating Society, and yet he is celebrating the murder of somebody he literally debated himself in the Oxford Union in May. I found that terrifying. I mean, he shouldn't still be in the job, because how can you possibly be the head of a debating society when you think the way to debate with people is murder them if they don't agree with you? But again, the gleeful celebration. This is supposedly one of the brightest students in Britain. You know, president of the new Oxford Union Debating Society.
He can't be that bright if he's not considering what a political assassination.
Careful, careful, careful. Kind of slouched back. The posture is lacking. Cross legs, effeminate position. Who the fuck crosses their legs like this if they're conservative and standing up, okay? Not good.
He can't be that bright if he's not considering what a political assassination could potentially lead to. Because where does this end? And that's like one of my biggest issues with a portion of the left. Their inability to see past the current moment, right? You're celebrating it, but what's the long-term goal here? Is the long-term goal to just have to descend to an environment of endless political assassinations and violence? And if we're going to have the left go up against the right in terms of violence, in terms of bloodshed, in terms of shootings, I don't know. I would just venture to say that the right is probably going to do a better job in, taking people out than the left is. This is just a really disgusting, sick ideology, and we need to move away from it. And again, I want to emphasize, your personal behavior, the way you choose to behave and respond to things on a day-to-day basis has an impact. Okay, be the change you want to see in the world. So when you have a huge audience, and that audience of young people who look up to you, who feel inspired by you, hear you essentially minimize political violence, or even make excuses for it, or deflect by blaming Trump for everything, well, you're essentially indoctrinating people to support and normalize political violence. We can't be doing that. I don't care how people behave on the right. That's not going to have an impact on how I personally choose to behave. I want to be better than that. I want to preach dialogue, okay, debate, have these conversations. And Charlie.
I mean, would you debate the homeless person who sexually assaulted you? You wouldn't, right? The same standard applies here.
Kirk, the last debate he and I had, Destiny would like you to believe that I agree with the right on everything. I don't agree with the right on everything. We debated about whether or not you have to have children in order to care about the future of this country. So we have a debate, and it's fine. He has a right to his opinions. I have the right to mine. If you care about democracy, the democratic process is reliant on having these types of conversations and reliant on not resorting to violence because you're unable to articulate your arguments effectively against the other side. That's what I see this assassination as. Again, it was cowardice. It was disgusting. It was cold-blooded murder, and no one should be celebrating it, and no one should be mocking the family members of Charlie Kirk.
Yeah. Very well said. I just want to thank all the panel for joining me. Jack, I want to say to you, I can tell by your demeanour today how profoundly impacted you've been by your friend.
Well, why the fuck did he appear on this fucking... Dude, you've got to be fucking kidding me. You know what? Jack is probably the most pathetic person, okay? Fuck it. At least Anna and Andrew came here to performatively fight, okay? This guy came to performatively cry, all right? Like, this motherfucker, was probably practicing before the panel in front of the mirror for hours on getting his fucking quadrilateral fucking trapezoid, fucking lips aligned. Exactly like that. Because he knows that it will elicit probably the most sympathy from the most brain dead and the most fucking stage 5 cancer, brain cancer of conservative audiences willing to slop up his fucking liquid cum, okay? Not viscous, okay? Non-viscous, non-Newtonian liquid, okay?
And I'm just very sorry to you as his friend. That you've had to endure what must have been a hellish week. And
actual ghouls.
I'd like to send my very best to the family who I know you talked to. And I'm sorry for some of the things you've had to hear from Destiny in this debate. But thank you for coming on despite what you've been going through.
Well, he asked for it. I really doubt that Piers Morgan doesn't tell any of these panel guests who's going to be on the panel. What a silly, absurd thing to fuck. I really doubt this. I really doubt that Piers Morgan doesn't let his guests know who's going to be on the panel. If you thought that Destiny was going to be too extreme and you wouldn't be able to handle any of this, why the fuck are you apologizing for this? You're the one who puts Destiny on this panel. You're probably the first person to ring Destiny up.
So I appreciate it.
Thank you, Piers. I'll convey that to them.
Thank you very much. Thank you to the panel.
Cringe.
Thank you.
Okay, great. That was just fantastic.